proponents and practitioners of various esoteric forms of spirituality and alternative medicine refer to a variety of claimed experiences and phenomena as being due to energy or force that defy measurement and thus are distinguished from the scientific form of energy. Reiki is a Japanese form of alternative medicine called energy healing. Reiki practitioners use a technique called palm healing or hands-on healing, through which a universal energy, also known as Qi, is said to be transferred through the palms of the practitioner to the patient in order to encourage emotional or physical healing. Even though the concept of Qi energy appears throughout traditional East Asian culture, such as in the art of Feng Shui and Chinese martial arts, there seems to be no scientific evidence for the existence of such energy. I am your host, Maria-Anna van Driel, and you are listening to The Next Truth, where science and myth meet. And this week, I'm speaking with the owner and president of the company Austen Parker and Reiki practitioner, Davina Zarnighian, and discuss with her the pros and cons of Reiki and how jewelry is related to this ancient energy healing. Mrs. Zarnighian, welcome to the radio program of The Next Truth, where science and myth meet. In your intro, I forgot something to mention. Well, that was, I believe it was divine healing?
Yes, so my podcast and my company where I work on people, I do energy healing and like spiritual life coaching. So I kind of combine, as I'm working on you doing energy healing, I also help guide you through different areas in your life that you might need help, but with a spiritual perspective as well.
Did you have an education in that? Did you study this, or did you, one day in your life, let's say in the afternoon, you say, okay, my God, I realized that I can do something that is a little bit more special than we are familiar with?
That's a very good question. I went to school at Pace University and I studied English literature and women's studies. So I always had the desire to work in either publishing. I love to read. If I could get paid for reading, it would be amazing. I took a lot of journalism courses in school, how to interview somebody. And when I got out of college, I was kind of lost. I was like, what do I do with this? And when you're out of college, the first thing you do is you take the only job that you can that'll make you some money and you might grow into it. You probably don't like it. It's probably not your field. But you're like, okay, you know what? I know this person. I have this family connection. They're the best person to nurse me through my first job. So I worked for somebody who, in finance. I hate finance. I hate money. I hate numbers. I hate math. I slowly went into the business category, which I liked. I liked business. I liked talking. I liked selling. That, I think, I was using my degree to talk. But it wasn't until I started my own business, which is selling jewelry and having my own store, was when I kind of felt this kind of loss and this kind of yearning to do something more important. I'm selling people jewelry that they can go to a party. I'm not saving the world. I'm not like curing cancer. I just felt kind of lost, and I felt kind of, this is very extreme, but in a bit useless, stupid, materialistic. So I went and I learned Reiki from this healer about six years ago now. And when she worked on me for the first time, I said, I have to do this. Like, what am I doing? And I started to do it on, I went and I got the certificate. I learned, I became a master. And I started to do it on friends and family. I was a bit scared because where I come from, this stuff is a bit like woo woo. Are you a witch? Are you gonna put a spell on me? Do you have a doll of me? That kind of stuff. So I kind of kept it.
This sounds more like when you say a doll, that sounds like voodoo.
Voodoo.
Where were you born originally?
I was asked yesterday by a friend, like, do you have voodoo dolls of people? And I said, no, I don't do that. No. First of all, if someone were to do that, they wouldn't go tell you, hey, I have voodoo dolls. Like, I have a doll of you. Your pants are green. No one says that. But I am very upfront with what I do. Whatever I do is not voodoo. It's not witchcraft. I do energy healing. And we all are made of energy. We have different points in different areas, and if we don't access our emotions and we don't deal with our emotions the right way, they get trapped in our body and it causes illness. It's very simple when you think about it at the end of the day. But even when I was in high school, I was learning from these amazing naturopaths on, have you heard of biosyntony?
No, not yet.
No,
but
not yet.
So I'm going to explain.
It was made in France. It's needleless acupuncture. And it also helps you connect to the energy of the earth and the different planes of the earth. It's very relaxing. So I learned how to do that in high school. And after I learned how to do Reiki, at the same time, I was like, there's something else missing. What else is it? And I went online and I was like researching all these different coaching courses. And I was like, hey, I coach my friends, I coach my family. Everyone tells me I'm wise somewhat. Why not? Let me just try this. So I took a coaching course and I became certified as a life coach. But my approach was more, let me like check your dates. Like, let me advise you to meet this person who can, hypnotize you to see your past life. It had a spiritual approach. It wasn't just like psychology and like sociology and all that. It was more like, how do I make you question something that a lot of people don't understand? So after I became certified as a life coach, I'm like, okay, this feels good. Like, I think I'm getting there. And I continued to do this as just a thing on the side, obviously not as my business. And then COVID started.
Yes.
And I said, why am I like wasting my time not doing something that I love to do? And that gives me purpose and fulfills me and makes me feel better. And I decided to start the podcast as a way to market what I do, because a lot of people are scared of Reiki.
Why do you think that people, or most of the people, are scared of what the effects of Reiki?
Right. So, like, let's say I don't know you and I'm speaking to you now. I'm like, Maria, guess what? I can tap into your energy. If somebody tells me I can tap into your body and your energy, that's a little scary. That's weird.
For me, it's not really scary, but it seems odd. Let me say so.
That's a good word. Odd. It's odd. When I tell people, it's COVID now, I'm very careful with who I work on. I'll Zoom you. You'll relax and I will connect to you. They're like, wait, what? You do it on Zoom? You do it on FaceTime? What? What am I paying for? I'm like, just trust me. So they're scared because it's the fear of the unknown that this stranger, who the hell am I? I'm working on them. And after I'm done working on you, I'll tell you, stuck energy needs to get out. How will it get out? I can't predict how it'll get out for every person. That is impossible. I have had people have anxiety attacks 2 days later from a Reiki treatment. That was rare, but it's happened. Most people have stomach issues. They will go to the bathroom. Number one is the energy will leave out of them that way. I've had people cry it out. I've had people sleep for, 10 hours after, like they pass out. That way you can't predict how energy comes out. So when I work on you, I'll tell you, okay, just drink a lot of cold water. Don't go out partying after. Like, you need to relax. This is, I did some pretty, not heavy, but like extensive work on your energy field. So in that way, when I explain it, everybody's like, oh, okay. Like they'll be cautious, but at the same time, there's this fear. And then I've had people in my community who are like, this is the work of a devil. This is not kosher. And I said, you want to hear something funny? And they'll be like, why? I'll be like, the woman who first worked on me, Orthodox Jew, wig wearing, skirt wearing, she can do it. Why can't I?
It sounds like you are not a born New Yorker, right?
Really? I have an accent of it.
No, I don't mean in your voice, but I mean in your telling, because
Oh,
as
yes.
you say,
Yes.
the people from your culture or
Yes.
from your family or relatives
You're
are,
right.
well, a little bit in the
Closed
sentence
mind.
of skepticism, something in that direction, and then, well, pronouncing it as or labeling it as
Yeah.
devil's work.
I come from a very now it's more prominently a little bit more religious. It's gone to the religious side. So people in my community, if they experience one little hardship, anything, it's like, you know, let's keep the Sabbath, let's keep kosher. It's like they go from zero to just extreme. They don't know about, oh, let me keep a few nice traditions. They're like, okay, I did something bad. God needs to forgive me. I'm gonna eat here only kosher places for the rest of my life, or I won't get in the car on Saturdays ever again. They don't know how to slowly step into things. That's
Well, I think that this kind of way of thinking is, well, putting them in their comfort zone so that they can live their lives peacefully with a peaceful mind. But this Reiki or Reiki, you say you mastered it, you've been taught, well, to expand your skills. That would also mean that you were born with particular skills.
yes. Apparently, I have been born. I've been born. I've been told that I've been born with channeling abilities. They're genetic. I have on both sides abilities. One side black, the other side white. My channeling abilities, I haven't stepped into fully yet. I've been told that I have to accomplish another area in my life before I'm strong enough to step into that. But I was born with something. I was born with these abilities that attracted me to do Reiki. Like it wasn't just me, hey, just running into Reiki. I was attracted to it for a reason. It's because of my abilities. But yes, you are
Oh,
right.
I thought there was something else coming.
No. I was not like, but you were right. I was born with certain abilities, and as a child, like I remember, younger than 5, like I would see things in my room, and I would be talking to this lady. I still remember how she looked like, but I don't know. I shrugged that off as like, oh, maybe I'm just like allergic to some drug, like a Benadryl, or oh, I'm just high on allergy medicine because I had a lot of allergy problems as a child. But as I got older, I realized, hey, I was talking to people.
Well, I can imagine. I can imagine that for a child of about 5 years, a lady standing in the room with a faint white, bluish light around it could be a scary moment. That was that a moment that you somehow realized that you were more special than other kids?
No, I wish I did. I actually wish I did because it was only until maybe two years ago I found out who that lady was. And growing up, I was told I'm too sensitive. She's special. And I grew up thinking something's wrong with me. I'm bad. I'm stupid. I'm not smart. I wish I looked at myself at that age and said, oh my God, you know, I'm like a special kid. But at the end of the day, I was the first child of very young parents when they had me. They really didn't know what they were doing. And it wasn't until I was older where I studied this craft and I read everything and I learned with great healers that I knew like why I'm here and like why I experienced the stuff that I did when I was younger. And I'm
So
glad
it's
it was later because it was very, very intense and rough.
cool at this moment, but yes, you are back. I don't know if you said something in the last, 5 to 7 seconds, because the
No,
connection was
I
bad.
realized it froze. It's okay.
Okay. You say you practice, because of the corona at this moment, and all the lockdowns, that you practice Reiki, or Reiki via Zoom or
Yeah.
Facebook. But you also mentioned that when you do so, that people experience all kinds of effects.
Yeah.
For instance, that they have to go to the bathroom, or feel a little bit dizzy, for instance, or something. Are there also cons for you? I mean, are there negative effects for you when you tap into somebody's energy?
Oh, 100%. Love this question. Yes. If I don't ground myself prior and after, and I don't protect myself, I will get very, very sick. Very sick.
Okay, that's
And
another good one.
yeah, it's not fun. I have one of my mentors, she is always sick. She always has a cold, she has the flu, she has something. Meanwhile, she protects herself, she takes the precautions, but it's because she's working on so many people at a time.
Yes.
I don't do that. I try to work on one, maybe two people at a time. I always wear my crystals prior, during the treatment, and I Palo Santo and sage my space and myself. And I typically schedule my sessions with people if I know, it's hair washing day. I tell a lot of people this because your hair can accumulate energy. If you go around somebody who's not that great, somebody has like bad intentions, touch your hair, you will get bad energy. So I always make sure, like, can I like shower after a session just so I feel refreshed and I'm able to do this like shower meditation. And a friend of mine told me to use kosher salt on different points. That helps rid people's energy off of you after a session. So that's like a really good tip to have just for anyone. You don't even have to be a practitioner. If you're very sensitive, kosher salt on different points and just imagine everything just coming off. It's great. So yes, you can get very sick, and I make sure to take all the necessary precautions to not get anything from anyone else.
You just mentioned crystals. I heard that crystals can absorb vibrations, and they can start to become elastic, and that they can not only record but also project particular vibrations mixed with your own. These, don't you? No, the question would be more, how do you clean these crystals after that you use them? Because there are still vibrations in there.
Yes. Great question. Love this. There are many things you can do. The most popular thing everybody tells you to do how to clear crystals is charge them with the moon. Full moon. We don't have a full moon every day. That is like not a rare, but like it's like the least common thing you can do. But if you use crystals every day and you're working with people that you need to use crystals with, the easiest thing is to buy a small selenite bowl, okay? And after end of the day, you put your crystals in it to cleanse overnight. That is the most affordable way. It's like one purchase, you have it, it looks beautiful. It's also like on your counter, it has good vibrations, good energy, but it really cleanses all your crystals. Or you can have like also a plain bowl of salt, and you can bury your crystals into that salt, and it also draws out the energy. A lot of people also, what they do is they run it under cold water. Not all crystals can go under water. and you just have to check which ones can, and just very briefly, you're not going to just like hold it because this takes the sheet. But I would just recommend everybody getting a selenite bowl and cleansing your crystals that way, because it's great. Or if you're a Reiki practitioner, you can Reiki your crystals to clear them, which I do when I'm in a pinch, you know.
So it's more like nursing your crystals.
Yeah, I like that. That's cute.
There is also a lesser side. I mean, from the public view. People call it pseudoscience.
Yeah.
That this form of energy healing or using the chi is nothing more than a placebo effect on the psyche, on the human psyche. Do you think that is the true effect that this energy healing is giving? Just the human psyche entering an altered state of mind, that the human mind is, well, eventually healing its own body.
Yes. Mm-hmm. This is a loaded question. So Reiki does have the ability to transport you deep into your psyche. When I work on people, and this could just be me personally because I have certain abilities, I can sometimes tap into a past life. And I'm not aware that I'm doing that until I vocalize to the client what I'm seeing. So if I'm working on you and then I see like a dark-skinned woman, for example, I'll know that, hey, that is one of your past lives that I'm picking up. But I will recognize that it's you based on your eyes. Because your eyes are same in every life. The eyes are the windows to the soul. Your eyes are, that's how you can tell people. If you get past life regression, you'll be able to say, oh my God, that's my grandpa from his eyes. That's my mom from their eyes. So yes, with Reiki, you're able to tap into the psyche, but it's very simple to the point where we're all made of energies. Illness comes from blocked energy. And if we don't move that energy, we will get sick. We can't say, okay, there's no such thing as energy. We're not energy. It's plain and simple. We're energy. So for people to say that it's pseudoscience, I get it. It's hard to understand that somebody can tap into you. Like even my mom sometimes goes to me like, how? I still don't get it. But if I work on her in person, oh, I'm so relaxed. Oh, my arm doesn't hurt anymore today. It takes time. Cool. It's cool, right? It takes time. That's why when somebody goes to me, I don't believe in this stuff, like this is BS. I'm like, okay, just wait. There's a time and place for everything. Right now, you're not supposed to understand it. Soon you will, especially if I work on you.
If you, Davina, would practice on me, for instance, what would be one of the first things? Because we just met and right now in FaceTime with Skype, and we spoke earlier last year in one of your podcasts. Yeah. What would be the first thing that you would start with somebody you do not know or just saw 2 times?
Okay. What would I would obviously start with scanning your body first. After I white light myself and I protect myself and I prepare, I would scan your body. I would go from your crown to your root, and I would intuitively like tap in to see if there was any chakra or any body part that was like sticking out to me. I would like check in with myself, like, oh, how do I feel on her head? Okay, how do I feel on her third eye? Oh, I have heart palpitations in her throat. Like, what is she nervous about saying? Like, is she somebody who doesn't feel like they're getting their point across, or is there an imbalance there? And then I'll go to the heart. Oh, it's sad there. Is there like a sadness? Is there like a breakup? Like I'm saying in general, if I'm working on somebody. Ooh, and then I'll go to the stomach and be like, not feeling very stable. Like, is there something with the job, or do they feel like they're not making enough money? And then I'll go to the root and then I'll say, okay, this feels good. So they're feeling very grounded. They like where they are in life. They probably do grounding exercises. They're by the water a lot and they walk barefoot on grass and they love the earth and they do like great practices to protect the earth. So that's typically like what happens when I start working on somebody. It's like I first scan and then I get to work on how to move the energy that I felt was kind of a little bit off in each body part or chakra.
Well, to say so, I personally do not like to walk barefoot in the grass because I am terribly scared about all crawling creatures that are in there and they're going to bite me and crawl over me. So I do not do that. But it sounds interesting. The first part sounds very interesting, I must say, if I must be honest. Yes, when you point out to the throat chakra, there, of course, there's always within the job of journalism, hoping that you do not say anything silly or offend people, etc., etc. So, earlier you mentioned crystals.
Yeah.
And in the beginning, you mentioned that you are the owner and president of the company, let me see, Austen and Parker, which a company that is providing people with, what is it,
affordable jewelry and also crystal jewelry.
Are these jewelry? Is that similar to crystals? Is that woven into your Reiki abilities, or is this just for going out and Christmas and etc.?
It's for everything. I first started with just trendy, beautiful jewelry that looked like diamonds and fine stuff, but as I became more involved in my practice and the demand, COVID, just everybody wants to wear something that gives them some kind of relief, calm, and we're all on our computers nonstop. We need protection from EMF, from radiation. So during COVID, my shungite bracelets became very popular because, first of all, they're cool. They're shiny black. Men and women can wear it. They're rare. Everybody loves something that's rare. And if
you're talking about a crystal at this moment.
Yeah, about a crystal. It's called shungite. It's an EMF protective crystal.
Oh, okay.
So if you're on Zoom a lot, you're on the phone a lot, you don't want to absorb all that radiation to your brain, just to your heart, everywhere, your whole body, you'd want to wear one. So moms were like, I need 4, I need 5, I need this for my nieces, nephews. Oh, I got for my kids. I need for like my brother's kids. It just became, the demand for it became so high. And yes, because I'm a Reiki healer, everything is Reiki infused. I actually also, I sage my products as well. I clear the energy, especially if somebody like, tries like a bracelet on or a necklace on. I always make sure I like cleanse everything. So everything is like kind of blessed and energetically clean. So I, of course, infuse that. But at this time in my business, I'm actually very busy with stocking up boutiques and salons and spas with my jewelry and my crystals and my sage and my Palo Santo. So those products are really popular right now. And yeah, I've seen a demand. I'm just trying to provide everybody with some healing.
Do you make your own jewelry, or I pronounce it incorrectly, don't I? Yes,
no,
I do.
I make the crystal jewelry. Everything else is either my trendy jewelry is like half made by me, and the other is like bought. I support other female designers mainly.
Before I mentioned that science or Reiki does not fall within the accepted framework of science, by means of that this energy source is not, well, probably not recognized by scientific trained people. But which scientific field do you personally think would be the perfect candidate for proving the energy source within Reiki?
Great question. I actually have two that come to mind. The most obvious first one would be biology, study of the human body. And then the second one, I would think environmental science, because it involves like sustainability, the ability to move energy around different parts, different locations. And I also think about, for example, I don't know how much you're familiar with veganism and like different parts of like eating like kosher and stuff like that. Eating kosher meat, the reason why most people do that is because the animal is killed humanely and doesn't suffer, so we don't take on that energy when we eat it.
Okay.
So I think that kind of connects to environmental science, and just like that, when I read that question, I just thought like a lot of people are very careful of what they put into their bodies now.
Yes.
Especially with like beauty products. Everybody wants to do beautiful, like clean beauty products, even just like female products, like menstrual products. Like we're putting so much chemicals into ourselves and we're taking on terrible energy. And like that connects to Reiki for me, because we also want a Reiki healer that gets Reiki healing routinely by somebody else, so that they have great energy. And also like when you're in a relationship with someone, you don't want to be intimate with someone who doesn't do healing and has had many partners, and because we take on that energy as well, and that energy can also create illness.
Yes.
So I would say biology and environmental sciences.
You think that physics could be also a candidate in the thought of tachyon energy?
I think so. I think I do, but I'm sure if I like read into it more, for sure, like physics could also be in. That's like probably like the first thing that most people be like, oh, physics, energy. I'm probably looking at it more like an overly analytical, it's like the Virgo on me. I'm like, oh, it's biology, oh, environmental science, being sustainable, like using sustainable products. But I think like cut and dry, like physics could also totally, yes.
What do you think? What would, according to you, what is the most thing of the what people can benefit from Reiki? The one thing.
One thing, just better being connected to their bodies, just self-awareness. I think that's the main one. Because
So
when you're
that
aware,
that your subconscious and consciousness is going to merge and starting to understand each other, starting to see each other and cooperate with each other.
yes, well said, yes, absolutely. Because when you're self-aware, you're able to connect. You can detect illness. You'll know when something is wrong. You'll be able to guide other people as well, and just, I don't know, possibly like save lives and just connect to people better and like win them over. And I just think it's so important to be self-aware. And anyone who's not self-aware, I just find them so annoying.
The human body as an antenna that is reaching out to the energy of the universe,
Yes.
and that in the meanwhile, the person is getting a little bit more empathic into the world. That would be a new utopia, I guess.
Yes.
I see that the hour is almost over, but before we close out, can you tell us where we can find more information about your company, about your Reiki, and for how people to contact you when they have questions, I'm sorry.
Sure. So for my podcast and to book for Reiki, you go on Instagram. It's Divine Healing by Divine Healing by D. And I have a site there you can click on to read more about me. You can listen to the podcast on the site as well. And for Jules, if you want to shop my Instagram, that is AUSTEN and Parker, PARKER. And you can reach out to me there as well and listen to my podcast. If there's anybody who would like to come on as a guest, I'm like very open and willing to talk about a lot of things. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed and reach out with any questions.
Thank you all for tuning in this week on The Next Truth, where science and myth meet. Make sure to visit our website, www.nexttruth.com. That is nexttruth, all in one word.com. And let us know what you think about our podcast. While you're at it, if you found value in this show, we would appreciate a rating on our website in the section The Next Truth Podcasts. Or if you would simply tell a friend about the show, that would help us too. I am Maria Anna van Driel with The Next Truth. Be sure to tune in next week for our next episode.